Can I get a one in the chat? Can I get a one in the chat? Let me know if you can hear me. Thank you. Give me like 2 minutes. You know what that means. You know what that means. All right, y'all. Peace, world, peace. Welcome or welcome back to Goddess Dawn Speaks, aka the $1 trillion Goddess, baby. It is a mindset, a vibe, and a frequency. Get into it, honey. Yeah. Happy Tuesday, January 21st, 2025. To be exact, we are in a whole new era, honey. They are calling this the golden era. The golden era is what, and I say they, I'm talking supporters of the president elect, the president who had his inauguration yesterday. I was MIA, okay? I was not even here for that, but I saw a bunch of stuff today. Got to get into it. We can't just skip over the stuff. I know a lot of y'all don't want to hear about Trump, don't care about Trump, but the truth of the matter is, in this very moment, he is the man who has the highest office here in the land, honey. He has the highest office. He was voted in, and that is what it is. I can tell you, somebody who does not entertain fear, I have to had to train myself never to entertain fear. Had fear this morning when I was looking at some of these executive actions this man has signed, and as well as the vigor he has with some of these policies, as well as the things he rescinded that Biden put into play. Now, child, he's taken away all types of stuff that has to do with, being kind when it comes to diversity and the people. Okay. So let's just get right into some things here. Hope everybody's doing well. What's going on, beautiful spirit? Wow, Wayne. Yes, chosen ones, warriors in the building. Yes, we are definitely back. Let me take this picture down. We moving over to Instagram. I got a couple of things on TikTok I'm sharing, and I just want to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of stuff in my saved posts here. I think what I want to start with is maybe, just the arrivals, the people who arrived at the inauguration. We got some salutes here that we're going to talk about. I think before I start anything, we got to start off with the fact that it was definitely Martin Luther King Day. Now, the day has come and gone, and I shockingly hadn't even wished him a happy birthday on January 15th. My bad. And I was live. Shout out to Wow Wayne. He tried to remind me. I was like, that's not to the 20th. That's not to the 20th. Come and forgot that they actually made the holiday nationally on the 20th, but his birthday is on January 15th. Why they did that, I don't know. But shout out to Martin Luther King Jr. and all he did. And there's a post here I'm going to play.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day.
Remember that dream? Well, a lot of us, or y'all, weren't alive, or at least alive enough to know what the heck was going on during this time. But we have learned throughout the years who this man represented, what he did for civil rights, for Black folks here in America, people of color. All the people who came after the fact have benefited from all of these perks and privileges that Martin Luther King and his soldier activists fought for. And this thing has seemed to have been buried underneath all of this other stuff that's going on, all this propaganda. Beautiful Spirit said, why did they have the inauguration on Martin Luther King Day? I think it's already a day on the 20th. And Martin Luther King, I thought, it's also on a Monday because it's a holiday, but I don't know if there's a date. It's just weird that everything lined up that way. I agree with you. I didn't watch none of it either. Love you too. I didn't watch none of it yesterday. I told y'all. So I went live Saturday just to update on a court filing in the Diddy case. We have been kind of waiting, well, at least I know I was, on the government to respond to the inquiry from the judge about investigator one and the sweep that happened, that interagency sweep. He had some questions that he wanted to answer. He wanted more details from the government and also signed affidavits. Now that came in and I said, you know what, let me stay on point and read this 7-page response from the government. And it was interesting, but it's a separate live that I did on Saturday. Now, since then, I have been off the grid trying to finish this book I'm writing, and I didn't see none of that stuff yesterday. So today, we are here. They did this on Martin Luther King's birthday of all days, and it was a day, apparently. So here's some of the arrivals from some past presidents and their spouses.
Which one about Mike Pence? The 42nd
President of the United States, the Honorable William J. Clinton, accompanied by the Honorable Hillary Rodham Clinton. Ladies and gentlemen, the 43rd President of the United States, the Honorable George W. Bush, accompanied by Mrs. Laura Bush. Ladies and gentlemen, the 44th President of the United States, the Honorable Barack H. Obama.
Mary Jordan, Barack Obama, being applauded by that room as he walks by. And all these different relationships. Actually, we were talking about this earlier. Lindsay was alluding to it as well. You know, the Bush political dynasty, the Clintons, Hillary Clinton trying it, Barack Obama obviously serving, and then his vice president, Joe Biden, running years later and becoming president.
Which one about Mike Pence?
Now, y'all notice Michelle was not there, honey. And I don't know if you noticed as well that Bush Jr. says something to Obama when he walked by, and he's probably looking for Michelle Obama because he usually carries candies in his pocket just for her. He was laughing because she said she ain't coming on. He said, sure did. Michelle Obama said, I'm going to sit this one out. But what else did let's move on, child. A lot of pomp and circumstance, okay? I wanted to also point out, where is there's a couple things, child. Here it is. We saw him greet his wife. He comes out and he got to kiss his wife now. Or does he? Because they barely touch. They don't touch at all, actually. And is that even her underneath that big brim hat? I don't know if y'all are aware that they have been reporting that she was missing at some point. This was after the election, but they also had some other lady saying that she was a lookalike, taking group pictures with them. Now they got her hidden up underneath this big brim hat. I'm very highly suspicious, okay? But that's their business, not mine. So I'm going to move on from this. Some other strange things. They show Trump saluting, honey. Yeah, saluting through the national anthem. Okay. And then we show a different type of salute that was made by your boy,
Elon. Thank you for making
Elon Musk, child.
You.
What is this? Somebody said Elon Musk is not doing a Nazi salute. It's a Roman salute. They're pretty effing similar. Please.
Yeah. Well, people have.
And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
That looked like some high Hitler stuff to me. I mean, I hope YouTube don't get me for that. But I'm just saying, what are we doing? What's really happening? What's really happening? And if y'all didn't notice, back when they introduced Obama coming out, he didn't even get the dang sentence right. It's supposed to be honorable. He didn't say it right. I forgot to point that out as well. What else happened? Before I get to his actual actions that he signed yesterday, just getting a lot of these little tidbits out the way that I thought were interesting. We also have Martin Luther King III coming out saying King, his dad, would have been quite disappointed. Or was it his grandfather? I think it was his grandfather. It says that he spoke out about his father, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy during an interview with NBC News Meet the Press, and had a lot to say. Asked about the nation state and what his father would think. He replied that his father would be quite disappointed with the current world. He said he'd be quite disappointed, quite frankly, that we are where we are. Probably wouldn't be surprised, but he certainly would be disappointed because he always infused energy that was positive, bringing out the best of who we as Americans are. King added that although Americans are more divided than ever, there's good that can come during these times. He said, unfortunately, in great tragedy, we see the best of who Americans are. But when it's over, we go back to our corners and live in bubbles and separate. We need to exhibit the behavior that we exhibit in tragedy universally at all time. And speaking of tragedy, we're still dealing in LA the after effects of the wildfires that took place the first week of January. We found out somebody else lost her home, and she actually just said it casually in an interview, but I guess she's out talking about it now, and that would be Tyra Banks, child.
People have lost their houses.
I'm one of them.
You lost your house?
Yes, exclusive. Yes, I lost my house. I haven't really talked about it, but yeah, I have. I just didn't want to pull a lot of attention to me. I feel like there's a lot of people that need that attention, so I haven't really talked about it, but I can't sit here and not tell the truth that, yeah, we lost. Yeah.
Well, people who've lost their houses.
I'm one of them.
You lost your house?
Yes, exclusive.
Yeah, she just casually mentioned that in an interview. Oh, yeah. She's all messed up about it. She was in Australia, she says. She says she spends most of her time in Australia and New York. So she had a lot of her important things with her. So that LA house maybe nobody was actually living in it, but that's still her home, and it still feels bad to have your house burned down. So let's see. People were making fun of Melania's outfit.
Welcome to the Tonight Show. After this, we're going to play Who Wore It Better, me, Melania, or the Hamburglar. A lot of people were talking about Melania's outfit. Can we see another photo? People weren't sure if she was there for the inauguration or to kill Indiana Jones. All day long, Trump kept cutting into the hat, hoping it was cake. Even more surprising, Mitch McConnell wore the exact same thing, which is just odd. They should have called each other.
Jimmy Fallon is a fool. So let me go over to TikTok, because there's some things just so we could get into the swing of what exactly happened and how these things are going to affect us moving forward. It is very important that you stay in the loop of things. You can't hide your head in the sand, child, just because you don't like what's going on. You got to pay attention so you can prepare yourself for things that need to be prepared for. All right. So let me see which one I want to play first. He has said some kind of crazy things. Let's see. Wait, hold on.
Border.
Wait, let me start with a different one.
A directive to the federal government ending the weaponization of government against the political adversaries of the previous administration, as we've seen. First item that President Trump is signing is the rescission of 78 Biden-era executive actions, executive orders, presidential memoranda, and others. Thank you, sir.
This is him basically taking away some things that Biden has signed. And I'm going to go over some of those things, but that's not actually where I wanted to start. Wait, he did a whole pause on TikTok. TikTok was down for about 12 hours. Everybody was losing their mind. Let me see.
Today, on a series of historic executive orders, I will direct all members of my cabinet to marshal the vast powers at their disposal to defeat what was record inflation and rapidly bring down costs and prices. The inflation crisis was caused by massive overspending and escalating energy prices, and that is why today I will also declare a national energy emergency. We will drill, baby, drill. With my actions today, we will end the Green New Deal and we will revoke the electric vehicle mandate. We will reinstate my Remain in Mexico policy. I will end the practice of catch and release. Today, I will sign a series of historic executive orders. I will direct all members of my cabinet to.
Okay, so he had a lot on his plate. He spoke about Mexico.
We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring that covers a lot of territory. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name. And it's appropriate. It's appropriate. We're going to be.
Now, one of the biggest undoings of Biden's acts was the Citizenship Birthright Act, where if you're born here, you're automatically a citizen. There was, I think the DREAM Act was linked to that. They are fighting these actions that he's signing right now. They were already ready and geared up to do so. They talk about the TikTok ban. Hold on, let me see.
look at that. It says TikTok. My. What is that all about?
First, we have Alaska, sir. This is an executive order relating to unleashing Alaska's potential as an energy reservoir for the entire nation.
And what about Anwar?
I believe that would be included in aspects of the order.
We're opening up Anwar.
You hear what he said about Alaska? He said he's going to unleash Alaska to basically be an energy resource provider for the nation. So apparently it's been in a reservoir, been in a reserve for only, whether it be just Alaska or certain states or regions, but now it's going to boom, be a booming economy for Alaska. That's what it sounds like. Sarah Palin.
On the TikTok piece, President Trump, you and your members of your used to warn about the dangers of TikTok spying on Americans. What changed? You're not worried about that anymore.
Well, it depends on the deal. I mean, I may not do the deal or I may do the deal. TikTok is worthless. Worthless. If I don't approve it, it has to close. I learned that from the people that own it. If I don't do the deal, it's worthless, worth nothing. If I do the deal, it's worth maybe $1 trillion, $1 trillion. So if I do the deal I'm talking about doing it for the United States. If I do the deal for the United States, then I think we should get half. In other words, I think the U.S. should be entitled to get half of TikTok. And congratulations, TikTok has a good partner. And that would be worth, it'd be $500 billion or something. It's crazy. The numbers are crazy. But it's worthless if the president doesn't sign, then it's worthless. If the president does sign, it's worth maybe $1 trillion. So I think like a joint venture, I think we would have a joint venture with the people from TikTok. We'll see what happens. I mean, that's one of many ideas I've had.
The CEO is now. Did he say that he's open to that idea?
Who?
The CEO of TikTok is around.
Oh, I think he'd probably like it because he's got nothing. They really have nothing. It's passed in Congress. It gives the president a right to make a deal or to close it.
So TikTok was down for about 12 hours, and Trump had already announced that he was going to probably put some type of a hold on this ban. I believe he went and did a 75-day deal to allow them to decide how they want to move forward. And he's basically saying that he wants the U.S. to become a 50% partner in the company. And this is versus the previous, I guess, demand that they sell the whole company to a U.S. company or business or entrepreneur, or someone, entity or a company. He wanted TikTok to be sold to a U.S. arm. Now, I thought it was just the U.S. arm of TikTok, but now he's saying a 50-50 partnership in the whole shebang is what it sounds like. I don't know if, it's going to be worth all that, to be honest, but supposedly the concern is privacy rights for Americans. They don't want China to have access to American information, is what they're saying. I mean, is our information safe anywhere? I don't know.
And we have 90 days to make that decision.
So he said 90. Somebody else I heard said 75, but he said 90 days.
But I could see making a deal where the U.S. gets 50% of TikTok, polices it a little bit or a lot, depends on them. But remember, they make telephones in China. They make all sorts of things in China. Nobody ever complains about that. Here they're complaining about this. There's so many different products made in China, and nobody ever complained about it. The only one they complain about is TikTok. And TikTok is largely young people. I guess I have a warm spot for TikTok that I didn't have originally. But, I went on TikTok, and I won young people up by 36%, Peter. And Republicans typically don't do too well with young people. But it's a different Republican Party.
So here he is giving credit to TikTok for a big part of his win. But that reminds me, I wanted to show y'all something back over here on Instagram of what really happened, in my opinion. I've been saying this, and he's saying it out of his own mouth.
And then he journeyed to Pennsylvania, where he spent like a month and a half campaigning for me in Pennsylvania, and he's a popular guy, and he was very effective. And he knows those computers better than anybody, all those computers, those vote counting computers. And we ended up winning Pennsylvania like in a landslide. So it was pretty good. It was pretty good. So thank you to Elon. And then he journeyed.
Thank you to Elon for winning him that election with your computers. He talking about vote counting. How about voting computers? I say that Elon had a hand in rigging that election. Nobody has one word to say about it.
And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
But this man thinking he running the country now, child. But back over here. I want to kind of get off the TikTok thing. I want to talk about some of the other orders that he signed. I'm going to come over to NPR. So one of the things that I saw announced was that the federal workforce has been ordered to go back to the office, honey. Now, I know they mad because I know I would be mad as a remote worker. I would be pissed, especially if I voted for him. And one of the first things he says is, well, first of all, it says Trump signed a freeze on all federal hiring, excepting the military and a number of other excluded categories. At Capital One Arena, Trump told his supporters the temporary pause would ensure that we're only hiring competent people who are faithful to the American public. And you know what that means because he already said it. If you don't support me, you're not working for the government, period, the end. So what they're doing is they're putting a freeze on all hiring. They're probably also evaluating their current employees, seeing who they're going to get rid of and who can go and who can stay. And then their new hiring, you better be wearing a Trump button and raising your arm like Elon Musk to Trump if you want to get a job with the federal government. He also signed an order requiring federal workers to return to the office in person and a regulatory freeze preventing the creation of new federal regulations. So he's like, not only am I making you do this, but I am also making it impossible for you to undo this on a federal level. You can't go to the Supreme Court and try to flip this on me. Child. What else did he do? He intends to declare a national energy emergency, aiming to cut red tape and regulations for the energy industry, and a second one specific to Alaskan resources. An incoming White House official told reporters on a background conference call. He also just mentioned that when he was signing the order. It says that national energy emergency will unlock a variety of different authorities that will enable our nation to quickly build again, to produce coal and natural resources, to create jobs, to create prosperity, and to strengthen our nation's national security. The official said the energy prices are too high, but declined on the call to name a lower target price. They are also calling the action will end, it says, what incoming Trump officials call the electric vehicle mandate, and will end efforts to curtail consumer choice on the things that consumers use every single day, whether it be shower heads, gas stoves, dishwashers, etc. Now, but from what I understand, as far as the auto industry is concerned, they were moving to discontinue gas fuel-driven cars for the electric cars. They were like stopping making them at certain plants so that they would phase out at some point. They wanted to start phasing out fuel-driven cars, and I think he is putting an end to that. Withdrawing from the Paris Climate Accord, Trump signed an order titled Putting America First in International Environmental Agreements, which included withdrawing from the Paris Climate Accord. Trump previously withdrew from the Paris Accords during his term, but Biden rejoined the agreement in 2021. So he's basically removing the U.S. from this global climate council. Same thing he did with the World Health Organization. He took America, U.S., out of the World Health Organization. What else? He mentioned weaponizing of government, which he said he signed in order to end this weaponization of federal government. He says he's been pledging to punish, prosecute, or jail his political enemies. And Trump has repeatedly indicated that he would use federal law enforcement as a part of a campaign to exact retribution. He already released 1,500 of those January 6 offenders, whether they were waiting on their trials or they were already convicted. As I mentioned before, he ended birthright citizenship. Trump signed an order that would end birthright citizenship for children born in the United States to parents without legal status. The order argues that the 14th Amendment, which enshrines birthright citizenship, does not extend to individuals who are born in the country but not subject to the jurisdiction thereof. This action has already been seen legal challenges. Yeah, they're already fighting that. He also wants to instructing federal agencies to vet and screen to the maximum degree possible all aliens who intend to be admitted, enter, or are already inside the United States, particularly those aliens coming from regions or nations with identified security risks. He says it's going to protect American citizens against invasion. It instructs federal agencies to use all lawful means to ensure the faithful execution of the immigration laws of the United States against all inadmissible and removable aliens. He also says he's going to restore the federal death penalty, instructing the pursue penalty for all crimes of severity demanding its use. Yeah. He said, in particular, it calls for the death penalty to be sought in all cases involving the murder of a law enforcement officer and all capital crimes committed by immigrants without legal status. Y'all hear that? Okay. So many things. So he's already is national emergency at the border, and the order declares that the national emergency exists at the southern border of the United States, allowing for the deployment of armed forces and the National Guard to respond. And the catch and release he had brought up is a sweeping order on securing our borders, calling for establishing physical barriers at the border, ending the practice known as catch and release, and reinstituting a policy that requires asylum seekers to wait in Mexico while their claim is processed. So basically saying once you catch them, they got to go back or they have to stay. You can't catch them, document them, and then let them go, because then you'll never find them again. What else is he saying? So many things. Inflation. Another executive order directs the heads of all executive departments and agencies to deliver emergency price relief, consistent with applicable law to the American people, and increase the prosperity of the American worker. He said this order would help defeat inflation and rapidly bring down the cost of daily life. So last month, it says he admitted it's hard to bring the grocery prices down once they rise. So now he's putting an order in saying that there must be emergency price relief with regard to all of our daily life needs, and that includes groceries. So we will see if that actually does happen. We already talked about on TikTok, the January 6th pardons, 1,500 defendants. Wow. It says wiping away scores of convictions for people who helped delay the certification of the 2020 election. They got freed and the charges removed. Straight pardon. Okay. Now Biden's actions that he undid, I'm going to read some of those that he undid. Hey, Juti. Sending good energy to all of you who are affected by what's going on in the USA. Thank you so much. Definitely appreciate that from our Canadian neighbors. So what he undid with regard to what Biden had already tried to put into play, let's see. So the following executive actions are hereby revoked. I'm not going to read the actual order numbers because we don't know what those numbers mean. I'll just read what they have described to us in the parentheses. So this is what Trump has asked: advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities through the federal government. Okay, so we already have something here that Biden put into play so we could advance racial equity, and he's asked that. Next is ensuring a lawful and accurate enumeration of apportionment pursuant to decennial census. Okay, I don't know what that means exactly. Let me see if the things that I actually understand. Okay, so he's nixed this one: organizing and mobilizing the United States government to provide a unified and effective response to combat COVID-19 and to provide United States leadership on global health and security. He has removed this. He has also removed the order to prevent and combat discrimination on the basis of gender identity and sexual orientation. So he is basically saying yes to discrimination of gender identity and sexual orientation. Go ahead and discriminate against them all day if you want to. He has also gotten rid of ethics commitments by executive branch personnel. You don't have to abide by any of our ethics that we put on the table here. Do whatever you want. He has also gotten rid of Biden wanting to protect public health and the environment and restoring science climate crisis. So forget all this climate research y'all are doing and any scientific means you are trying to do to help stabilize our climate. Throw that away. He is also, the revocation of certain executive orders concerning federal regulation. He doesn't want that anymore. He wants to put those back. The revision of civil immigration enforcement policies and priorities. Nope, he said, get rid of that. We don't want to revise any of the stuff. Ensuring an equitable pandemic response and recovery. Nope, we don't need that. We're not going to respond to anything anyway. So he said he does not even want establishing the COVID-19 pandemic testing board, ensuring a sustainable public health workforce for COVID-19 and other biological threats. He said no to that, get rid of that. He doesn't even want to improve and expand access to care and treatments for COVID-19. He does not like COVID-19. He does not like being responsible to care for anything having to do with COVID-19. Couple other things. I mean, there's a lot more things, but I will say he is also undoing economic relief related to the COVID-19 pandemic. So no more loans or any other stipends or any other things that we're going to have in place in case this thing comes back. You're not getting that stuff. He is undoing the action to protect the federal workforce. No to that, because I'm going to restructure the federal workforce to my liking. So we're not going to protect any of that. He's also saying no to enabling all qualified Americans to serve their own country in uniform. He says no to that. We don't care if they're in uniform or not. He's saying that he does not want to reform incarceration system to eliminate the use of privately operated criminal detention facilities. He doesn't want to reform them, leave them as disgusting as they currently are. Yep, he's getting rid of the President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology. He doesn't care about it. He doesn't want to hear about it. And he don't need any professionals or experts trying to tell him nothing about that. He doesn't want to tackle the climate crisis at home and abroad. He said, forget the climate crisis. What climate crisis? He does not want to strengthen Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. Leave it as it is. If it weakens and bursts into flames, then let it be. He doesn't care about migration and the problems of it. He doesn't want to address these problems. He doesn't want to provide safe and orderly processing of asylum seekers. He's like, F those immigrants, and I don't want them here anyway. So why are we creating any type of committee or framework to help them illegally cross our borders? No to that. He does not want to establish an interagency task force on reunification of families. When these families are broken up because they get caught being here illegally and the kids go over there, the parents go over there, he said, we're not helping them get back together. They're on their own. He does not want to restore faith in our legal immigration systems, strengthening integration and inclusion efforts for new Americans. He does not want to see Biden called them new Americans. He said, F that. They're not even going to be over here to enjoy any of this stuff anyway. And I'm getting rid of the ones who came in under Biden's watch, and whoever else's watch let them slide through. They're out of here. He doesn't want to help with any resettling of these people. That means they're getting no more money. They're not getting any more grocery cards. None of that. Okay. He doesn't want to establish a White House office of faith-based and neighborhood partnerships. He's like, F those churches. I don't want to link up with none of those people. They're on their own. Matter of fact, I'm going to try to figure out a way to make them pay taxes. He wants to revoke a certain presidential action. So it says revocation of certain presidential actions. Doesn't say which action. So I might have to look that one up. He does not want to promote access to voting. Get rid of that. He's trying to find a way where we don't vote anymore after this. He wants to get rid of the establishment of White House Gender Policy Council. We don't need a council on gender policy. You're either a man or a woman, and it's going to be whatever you were born as. That's it. He does not want to guarantee an educational environment free from discrimination on the basis of sex, including sexual orientation of gender identity. No gender identity policies or anything is going to live under his presidency. Period. The end. I've been on the wrong page all this whole time. Let's see. He doesn't want to, oh my God, he doesn't want to do anything. Nothing related to climate, immigration, or gender. Diversity and equity, bye-bye. Says he does not want diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility in the federal workforce. He does not want any of that to be, any of those protections to live in the federal workforce. He does not want to strengthen American leadership in clean cars and trucks. Forget that. Just let the pollution go as far and wide as it needs to go. Whatever order 14007 is, he does not want to amend that order. I don't know what it is. So many things. So it looks like workers are losing protection. Diverse workers, especially. Also, people under the LGBTQI plus umbrella, buy to protections for them. I'm wondering if he's allowing the marriages still. We also know Roe v. Wade was also lost already in the Supreme Court. That has to do with what Roe v. Wade is. That's going to go. So women, workers, people of color, cars, electric cars, immigrants, migrants. No protections for that, for any of that stuff. Yeah, he doesn't want any advancement for equality, for any of the LGBT stuff. He does not want to promote the arts and the humanities and museum and library services. Get rid of all that shit, he said. We don't care about art, museums, and all of that. No. He does not also want to lower prescription drug costs for Americans. He said no to that. Leave that as it is. It's sky high, and that's how we like it. Establishing the President's Advisory Council on African Diaspora Engagement in the United States. He said no to that. We're not establishing no type of council to engage African diaspora engagement, period. We don't care about them. They Black regardless of where they come from. And we're going to treat them as such. Saying no to further advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities through federal government. So no more government programs, grants, councils, nothing having to do with protecting racial equity in federal government. He got these oil companies listed in here. He's withdrawing some stuff with regard to these oil and gas leasing. If you watch Landman, you might know a little bit about it. I highly suggest watching Landman. It's a really good show on Paramount Plus. Oh God, there's just so much stuff. This might have to be a part 2, child. I'm just gonna scroll down and see if I see anything else directly related to us, the people. He wants to revoke. So Biden put a revocation of national security presidential memorandum 5, whatever that is. Trump said no to that. He said no to certifying of rescission of Cuba's designation as a state sponsor of terrorism. No to that. Get Cuba out of here. We don't want their help, and we don't want to be connected to them. Okay, so there was a lot of Biden putting into play or trying to designating officers or officials of the Office of Personnel Management to act as director in case certain things happen. He said no to all that. Nope. I'm the only one going to be in charge of anything. In case anything happens, it's just me. No order of successions for this or that. Yeah, he definitely is still saying no to White House initiative on advancing educational equity, excellence, and economic opportunity through Hispanic serving institutions. So anything catering to Hispanics or Latin communities, all this stuff they were getting, the perks and the benefits of coming over here, whether or not they were here legally or not, are out of here. He said no to these Hispanic serving institutions, and we're not supporting that anymore. Get that out of here. Now, Biden tried to put into place an executive order for imposing certain sanctions on persons undermining peace, security, and stability in the West Bank. And Trump said no to that. Let them keep being menaces. We're going to let them be a menace, and we'll probably shoot them on sight instead. But no, we're not going to put any sanctions in. He said no to that. Safe, secure, and trustworthy development and use of artificial intelligence. Trump is saying no to that. He don't care if they safe, secure, and trustworthy when they develop and use artificial intelligence. He's saying no to putting an order in that they have to be safe, secure, and trustworthy. No to that. We don't care if they're safe, secure, and trustworthy. Matter of fact, we don't want them safe, secure, or trustworthy. We want them to do whatever we tell them to do. And it's probably not going to be nothing good for the people. Let's see. Biden said moving beyond COVID-19 vaccination requirements for federal workers. He said no to that. Revitalizing our nation's commitment to environmental justice for all. He said no to that. It's just all the things that he's saying no to that Biden tried to sign in have to do with equity, inclusion, elevation of technology and the climate, bettering the climate. for us to be safe as a people, don't forget the law enforcement officers. If you harm or unalive a law enforcement officer, you getting life, and you're getting the death penalty, actually. And especially if you're an immigrant or a migrant out here doing that stuff, you're out of here. So, child, Juti said he is so freaking dark. He is a mess, child. He has, and I'm telling you, this is just the tip of the iceberg. And I'm pretty sure there's just a lot other things that, I haven't been able to cover in this short amount of time, but I'm going to put some time into pulling out the things that are not said today, that are important, things that we need to be paying attention to. Like I said, you got to pay attention so you know how to protect yourself, and you know how to, move around out here. Something might pass that you used to doing that might be illegal now. And you don't know because you're not paying attention. You're going to end up getting locked the hell up. They got a lot of empty cells now that he let out all those January 6th offenders. And they are very much happy to get those things put cells, child. A lot of them are not going to speak English. I'll tell you that much. I do feel bad for these people who came here thinking they were going to come get a better life. I mean, they were some of them were able to secure a better lifestyle. They came here, they got cash cards, they got cards to get food, they got apartments or hotel rooms, especially in New York. Eric Adams was giving the whole farm away, but Trump said no to that. We are ending all of that stuff and then some. We not only ending that, but you cannot be born here. Don't think you're going to come over here and have your baby for your child to be an automatic citizen. That is no longer in effect. And a matter of fact, if you did come here under that, you got to go. I mean, they are really, he and his administration are really going after everybody. I mean, if you are a person of color, I'm telling you, there's going to be some things put into law that are going to go against our very existence. And I'm not saying that to put fear in anybody. I'm just saying you might want to look around the globe for a new place to live. Ghana is accepting citizenships, and they did this on purpose. They did this right before Trump came into office, saying, you go what, you can come on home because we need to boost our economy over here. And I see a lot of people on TikTok promoting living in Japan, Black people too, living in Japan, saying how beautiful it is. The air is clean, weed is legal, the fashions are on point. The mall is like being in a movie. I mean, they are really putting it on thick. They're trying to get our citizenship. They're trying to get us they're trying to tell us something, really. They're trying to say, get the hell up out of there or you're going to be trapped. Now, I myself, as an intuitive, I had a download today after a meditation that was actually a bit scary. I'm trying to think of the name of the movie where you have to compete to basically get free of this. It's like they're watching a bunch of TV screens and you have to get picked. Then you have to compete in order to be able to get free and go live in this other land, like the La La Land kind of thing. Well, what it looks like, what it feels like we are living in currently is the whole thing with all the TV screens. There's so many to choose from, but only a few get picked. I don't know if it's Hunger Games. I don't know if I've even seen any of those Hunger Games. It was another movie I saw on cable. I'm not on cable, on one of these streaming platforms. I'm going to find that movie and tell you, because the vision I got was us as individuals and families and just imagine a whole being surrounded by TV screens with everybody's on there. Nobody's outside. You're like in a room and you're on this TV screen living your life. And if you're not in there, you're at work. You have to go to work, come back to your little room and be on TV. And if you get picked and you compete and win your freedom, but really the freedom was going to this place where they make you have plastic surgery and make you look like everybody else. And there's no individuality. They want you to get rid of your individuality, your personal emotions. You know, you're supposed to be just like calm, cool, collective for every situation. You don't cause no problems. You're very obedient. You do what they say. You look pretty. And that's what the draw is for everybody. Oh, I get to get a nose job. Oh, I get to get my hair looking like that and wear these clothes. I want to go there. Or you're in TV prison, or you just like living in your little cube and then you go to work and that's it. That's your whole life. I think you even get separated from your parents at a certain age. So it's not like family life going on, you know, as it's scary. All I'm saying is I don't trust none of this stuff, but we got to keep an eye on it, y'all. So I encourage you not to run away, because I know a couple of my people, they haven't even been back to the internet hardly after the election. They're so distraught over it. But life is going to go on. And don't forget, we in the age of Aquarius, honey. And that means is just truth and justice for all. So if anything is not serving you, I would just encourage you to pray it away and keep it moving and focus on the things that do serve you. Focus on the positive things in life and the things that you can actually change. And if you can change it, do your best to make that happen, because only you are in charge of you, not anybody else. Okay. So I'm going to leave us with a couple of final little quotes and notes that I found online. If you spend your life in fear of what you might suffer, you will spend your life suffering from your fears, whether they come true or not. Period. So I'm going to leave you with that today. Like, share, subscribe. Love y'all very much. Till next time, and bye.